being 7 o'clock, we'll call the common council meeting to order. Please stand for the agenda, or please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No. All right, roll call has been taken, clerk.
Yes.
All right. Move along to adoption of the agenda now. We don't have to stand for it this time, just adoption.
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion been made by Mr. Barrington,
Second.
second by Mr. Ritchie. Any additions or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, approval of the 11/15/2022 Common Council minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We need a motion first. Oh, Mr. Ritchie, all right, thank you. Second by Mr. Barrington. Any additions or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, Mr. Fichet, authorization to pay the bills.
Your Honor, I make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $1,067,604.84.
Motion been made by Mr. Fichet, second by Mr. Bisa. Any additions or corrections to that? Please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 8-0. All right, moving along to standing and special committees. Mr. Barrington, you want to go ahead with the Board of Public Works?
Thank you, Your Honor. Board of Public Works met on Wednesday, December 5th, 2022. Wastewater treatment plant update. Notes were read, included in the packet. Question was brought by Mr. Besaw about brine waste produced by Tyson. We discussed it, no action was taken. Next was recommended for engineering services for the 2023 construction projects. Director Garski recommended the use of McMahon and Associates for the 2023. Proposal was in line. This will be brought to the council tonight. The next was to hire a consultant to apply for STPU grant for Pearl Street. Recommended using McMahon and Associates, who has applied for the city 2 previous times. The cost will be no greater than $2,500. This will be brought to council tonight. Director's report memo was included in the packet, reviewed. Don Goudreau, Street Department, has completed 17 years. In the future, we'll be implementing some new plowing for snow. Next item's discussion about large item waste disposal and fee for using. No further discussion. Meeting was called 5:38. I move to approve an agreement with McMahon Associates Incorporated for engineering services for 2023 construction projects.
Motion been made by Mr. Barrington. Second. Second by Mr. Grote for approval, to approve an agreement with McMahon Associates for engineering services for 2023 construction projects. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 8-0.
I move to authorize McMahon Associates to reapply for STPU urban grant for Pearl Street in the amount not to exceed $2,500.
That motion been made by Mr. Barrington. Can we get a
Second.
Second by Mr. Hess. For authorization, McMahon Associates to reapply for an STP urban grant for Pearl Street in the amount to not exceed $2,500. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is also carried 8-0.
And that is all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Barrington. Moving to slay right along to Finance and Personnel, Mr. Fichet.
The Finance and Personnel Committee met Wednesday, December 7th. Chairman Dorsey called the meeting to order at 5:15 PM. Next, the Administrator Horth went through the RFPs for assessor and revaluation services from 2023 to 2025. The recommendation was to retain the survey group as the city's assessor for the next 3-year term and consider targeting the interim market update revaluation for 2025. A motion was made by Barrington and seconded by Besaw to recommend to council to approve the assessment contract with the survey group. That motion will be brought before council tonight. Next up, the ambulance service agreement with Gold Cross was reviewed by Administrator Horth. The annual subsidy per capita rose from $10.95 to $12.84 for an annual cost of $96,184 for the contract year 2023. A motion was made by Besaw and seconded by Roberts to recommend to council the 2023 ambulance service agreement. That will also be on the council's approval list tonight, consideration list tonight. An update to the administrative assistant position to accounts payable finance clerk was presented by Finance Director Radke. The position has grown in responsibility in the last 10 years, therefore requiring an update to the job description to include the additional responsibilities. A motion was made by Besaw and seconded by Barrington to recommend to council approval of the accounts payable finance clerk position for years 2023 through 2025, and that carried 11-0. The finance director's monthly reports were presented. The finance director's report was discussed. And next, a motion was made by Mr. Besaw and seconded by Barrington to move into closed session per the following statutory exemptions: 19.85 sub 1, sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business, whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. And next, per the following statutory exemption: 19.85 1C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Inviting into closed session City Administrator Horth and Finance Director Radke. That motion carried 10-0. The committee went into closed session at 5:42 PM. The committee reconvened into open session at 6:23 PM. Next, a motion was made by Fache and seconded by Besaw to recommend to council approval of the 2023 pay plans, and that motion carried 10-0. These will all also be considered on the council's consideration list tonight. The January finance meeting will not be held unless a need arises. The monthly financial data will be emailed to all council members. Next, a motion was made by Roberts and seconded by Besaw to adjourn at 6:26 PM. The next regularly scheduled finance meeting will be held in the council chambers on February 8th at 5:15 PM. Next, Your Honor, I would like to make a motion to approve the execution of a 2023-2025 Assessor Services Agreement with the Survey Group.
Motion been made by Mr. Fache. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ritchie to approve the execution of a 2023-2025 Assessor Service Agreement with Survey Group. Any further discussion? Cast your ballots. That motion is carried 8-0.
Next, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the execution of a 2025 interim market update revaluation agreement with the Survey Group.
Motion's been made. Can we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barrington to approve the execution of a 2025 interim market update reevaluation agreement with the Survey Group. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 8-0.
Next, Your Honor, I move to approve the 2023 ambulance services agreement with Gold Cross Ambulance Service Incorporated.
Motion's been made. Can we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Besaw has a second. Approve a 2023 ambulance service agreement with Gold Cross Ambulance Service. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That also carried 8-0.
Next, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to update a position description of the accounts payable finance clerk.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second? Second. Mr. Herter, second. Updated position description for the accounts payable finance clerk. Any further discussion on that? Please cast your ballots. That motion is also carried 8-0.
And next, Your Honor, I would like to make a motion to approve a resolution adopting the 2023 wage schedules.
Motion been made.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Croy to approve a resolution adopting 2023 wage schedule. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carried 8-0.
And lastly, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the monthly license list as presented in the packet.
Motion by Mr. Fichet. Do we get a second? By Mr. Herter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is that it, Mr. Fichet?
That is it, and I, on Mr. Dorsey's behalf, wish everyone a Merry Christmas and safe holiday.
Thank you, sir. You as well. All right. Mr. Besaw, can you take the reindeer into Park and Recreation, please? Beautiful. Move that sleigh right along into the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Your Honor. City of London Planning Commission met on Thursday, December 15th. The meeting was called to order at 5:15. Group participated in the Pledge of Allegiance. Motion was made by Steingraber to adopt the agenda, seconded by Gabbard, carried by all. Thank you. The first item on the agenda was discussion and an update of the comprehensive plan. Eric Fall from Cedar Corp led the discussion. We reviewed and discussed Chapter 9 of implementation draft of future land use map. The last item on the agenda was a draft of a new proposed fee schedule for the building department. There was discussion from several of the members present to gain some clarification on why the fees are necessary for the department. After a good amount of discussion, a motion was made by Mayor Herter for support and recommendation of a fee schedule to forward to council for consideration. The motion was seconded by Gabbard. Motion carried with a majority with one opposed. The next meeting day has been scheduled for Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. Motion was adjourned at committee was adjourned at 6:25. I would like council's approval of a newly proposed fee schedule for the building department.
Second. Made by Mr. Besaw, second by Mr. Herter. Is that Mr. Herter? Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 8-0.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Besaw. Move along to Economic Development Committee. Mr. Haas, reindeer are in your hands.
Thank you, Your Honor. The London Economic Development Committee met November 29th, Tuesday. The meeting is called to order by Chairman Dorsey at 5:15. The October 25th, 2022 minutes were reviewed. Motion to approve minutes as presented, carried by all. Wapaka County Veterans Service Officer Jesse Cuff provided information about a new grant program designed specifically for veterans who reside or operate a business within Wapaka County. The program is a partnership with a small business development center at UW Stevens Point and is designed to serve up to 26 veterans or veteran spouses in the next 2 years. Approved candidates will need to participate in a series of trainings with the SBDC. Following the successful completion of the program, candidates will be awarded a $5,000 grant to be used towards starting or growing their business. Interested candidates should find registration information or ask questions by contacting Wapaka County Veterans Service Office. Next, Beth Nash, the director of Inspire Wapaka County, was present to talk about a new county initiative, which is which is a development of Wisconsin Inspire program. The goal of the program is to connect area businesses with students by highlighting pathways through opportunities and career-based learning experiences available here in Opaka County. Businesses can benefit by creating connections with young talent and hopefully encourage students to stay in or come back to Opaka County following graduation or higher education learning. Employers who become partners with the Inspire program can participate in a variety of ways by providing company tours, job shadows, career fairs, youth apprenticeships, and more. Students and employees should use the online app Zello and are connected based on the interests of the student and opportunities of the business. Following presentation, Nash inquired if the city would be interested in being a partner. The committee members agreed it sounded like an interesting opportunity to connect with the students and build an interest in starting a career in a municipal government. Motion by Belinda, seconded by Kapitsky, to sign the letter of commitment and become a partner in the Inspire Opaka County program, carried by all. Board provided a copy of the current downtown facade improvement program and facilitated a conversation with the committee to see if a larger or a different focus should be considered in relation to the 2023-2024 downtown street reconstruction project. Consideration including creating a separate grant program just for properties included in the construction zone. If a higher dollar amount should be awarded for a separate grant program, restricting any improvements during the street construction to prevent equipment conflicts and possibly giving preference to those who have not received a grant in the past 5 years. Horth will put together some options for consideration based upon the committee's comments. Next, Chamber Director's Business Report. Sherwood Automotive will be leasing the former Coils Tire and Auto Body building. A new business called Walker Family Veterinarian Clinic will be moving into 1370 North Shawano Street, Suite E. A soft opening is planned for December 5th. Crafty Crack, formerly at 219 West North Water Street, will be merging with Advantage Sign and Graphics at 305 South Pearl Street. Taqueria Luciano was opened at 214 West North Water Street. Family Flippers, located at 1200 North Shawano Street, has relocated into the new suite in the same building. Tyson Food has reported they are now fully staffed and is pulling back their hiring advertising. There have been 17 confirmed $10,000 Main Street Bounce Back grant received by New London businesses in the last year. Next, City Administrator's report. Mr. Horth reported that he continues to work with the First State Bank and SC Swiderski in the developers agreement. Public comment. Jeff Henschke informed the committee that he has changed his mind, does not think the SC Swiderski project is a good idea for the downtown project. He also stated that home sales are still steady, but have slowed down a bit. Future items were discussed. Committee will not meet in December. The next committee meeting will be scheduled for Tuesday, January 31st at 5:15. Next, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the signature on a letter of commitment to become a partner in the Inspire Opaka County program.
Motion been made. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Fache for authorization, the signature on a letter of commitment to become a partner in the Inspire Wapaka County program. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Mr. Herder. That motion is carried 8-0.
And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hess. Moving along into Capital Equipments and Projects Committee, Mr. Besaw.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. The Capital Equipment and Projects Committee met on Wednesday, December 7th, immediately following the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting. The meeting was called to order at 5:45. Agenda was adopted, carried 10-0. Radke was called upon to review the 2023-2033 capital equipment and project schedule. Radke said the city staff department heads met to discuss priority needs on the list that may have to be bid out or ordered prior to 2023. Nothing can be paid until 2023. For the best interest of the city, due to pricing or lead times, the remaining items will be discussed in February. Radke highlighted the recommendations by staff for prioritized items, but stated council or committees could state their priority items as well. Those items will be brought to council for approval tonight. The next capital projects meeting will be held on February 8th, 2023, immediately following the Finance and Committee meeting. Following items will be up for council's approval. Approval of the replacement of the 2005 International Dump Truck funding $142,500 to be funded in 2023 and remaining in 2024.
Second.
Motion been made and second for the approval of the replacement of the 2005 International Dump Truck funding of $142,500 to be funded in 2023 and remaining in 2024. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. And that motion is carried 8-0.
Now I would look for council's approval of the replacement of a floor scrubber estimated at cost of $9,959.
Motion been made, second by Mr. Hess, to approve the replacement of the floor scrubber estimated cost at $9,959. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is also carried 8-0.
I look for council's approval of the replacement of the senior center bus with an estimated matching grant cost of $26,580.
Motion been made. Can we get a second? Second. By Mr. Barrington to approve of the replacement of the senior center bus with an estimated matching grant cost of $26,580. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion carried by 8-0.
I would look for council's approval of a lawnmower replacement with a snow attachments estimated cost of $65,452.
Second.
Motion been made, second by Mr. Ritchie for approval of lawnmower replacement with the snow attachment, estimated cost of $65,452. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 8-0.
And I would look for approval of the replacement of 2 police cars at an estimated cost of $98,000.
Second.
Motion made and second by Mr. Ritchie for approval of the replacement of 2 police cars at an estimated cost of $98,000. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carried 8-0.
And then I would look for approval to purchase a replacement chlorine feeder for the hot tub at the pool, estimated cost of $5,419.
Motion made,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Herder to approve to purchase a replacement chlorine feeder for the hot tub at the pool, estimated cost of $5,419. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 8-0.
And I would look for approval of a matching funds with Hatton Stadium Foundation for Hatton Stadium improvements, estimated cost $125,000.
Motion made,
Second.
second by Mr. Hass. Approval of matching funds with Hatton Stadium Foundation for Hatton Stadium improvements, estimated cost $125,000. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carried by all.
And finally, I would ask for council's approval to upgrade electric door controls for the tech room, estimated cost $5,500.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Fache for approval to upgrade electronic door controls for the tech room, estimated cost of $5,500. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be on both doors.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Mark about that, the fire chief about that, so we'll coordinate.
Because otherwise, you're gonna have to give out 8 different cards.
All right. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 7-1.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Besaw. All right, we'll move right into Police and Fire Commission. I will take that one over. We are looking for a authorization for the execution of an agreement to provide fire protection services with neighboring townships. So I need a motion and a second for that.
I would make the motion to move for the agreement to provide fire protection services neighboring townships.
Motion been made by Mr. Besaw, seconded by Mr. Herder. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 8-0. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. All right, moving into minutes and reports distributed, and now will stand as read in your packets. Move right along to reports of officers and recent events and announcements to the public. We'll start off with the mayor's report. First, I'd like to thank you for the service anniversaries. I'd like to say thank you for your service and time put towards the city. Secondly, I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a happy and safe New Year's. And with that, we can hand the reins off to the city administrator, Mr. Hurd.
Thank you, Your Honor. Obviously, since it is the season of giving, I'd like to give thanks and show appreciation to several individuals and groups in the city. First off, the New London Area Chamber of Commerce. For the alderpersons, I put on your desk a copy of the Chamber's annual report card showing some of their accomplishments for the year. Being in this position now, I really come to understand and appreciate what the Chamber does for the city, for the businesses, and the community overall. The Chamber is definitely a huge asset to the city when it comes to an economic development sense, and I think April and her staff need to be really recognized for their accomplishments. So I wanted to hand that out and recognize them for what they do to the city. Secondly, I'd like to thank and recognize our staff. We got a great team from our department heads putting up with a lot of my crazy demands and ideas. Police officers, firefighters keeping us safe, snowplow drivers who will definitely be busy over the next couple of days and putting in some late hours, and frontline staff who have been taking mostly good and maybe a little bit of the brunt of tax collection this year. So we want to thank them for what they do. We've got a really good team. And then lastly, I want to thank the mayor and the council. We've been really busy over the last year. We've done a lot of great things. Moving on, we've had TID districts, subdevelopments, comprehensive planning efforts, wage study, treatment plant, rate studies, street reconstruction projects, and continue planning for the downtown project in 2024. The list goes on. We don't see progress and those successful outcomes without the council members putting in their time. So you guys have put in a lot of late hours with meetings and just so you know and understand what's going on. So I want to thank you guys for what you guys have done, working closely with staff on those efforts. And that's what I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurd. Moving right along to the police chief, Mr. Schleter.
Thank you, Your Honor. We had 2 anniversaries, Kathy Martin's 15 years and Josh Wilson 21 years. And then I just want to remind everyone that after having a briefing today about the upcoming weather, to make sure to keep your cars off of the road. I would guess that there's a possibility that maybe a snow emergency will be coming up upon us in the next day or two. So please keep those off so we don't have to do anything as far as towing them, and set the street department, get the roads clean. And then finally, over the holiday season, I know that everyone likes to go out and celebrate a little bit, especially on New Year's Eve. Make sure you have a sober driver. We just want to keep everyone safe around here, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schleter. All righty, moving right along to Director of Public Works, Mr. Garsky. Sleigh is in your hands.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lincoln Court is predicted to be closed to through traffic starting January 9th. This closure will last approximately 2 to 3 weeks, worst case scenario. It will be closed off just north of a Wolf River Plaza, so there will still be access to Lincoln Court and the parking lot from North Water Street. The snowstorm is approaching us for the end of the week, and it will bring many challenges, including blowing and drifting snow. We will put our highest priority on arterial and collector streets. This means that at times, we may have to pull out of side streets to readdress priority streets. Also remember that with the predicted high winds, visibility for snow plow operators could at times be very limited. Please allow plenty of distance between yourself and any plow equipment. And that is all I have tonight, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gursky. All right, Director of Park and Recreation, Ms. Zoll.
Thank you, Your Honor. The New London Parks and Recreation Department is excited to unveil the new ice skating rink down at the Municipal Garage in the Boat Launch Overflow parking lot. We are currently asking that you stay off of it until we officially post that it's open so that it fully freezes over and is smooth for everybody. You can see when it is open by the city's website at newlondonwi.org, but we do anticipate that it will be open by Christmas. The Aquatic and Fitness Center is still looking for part-time opening staff to keep the facility's normal opening hours of 6 a.m. If we cannot find someone to fill that shift, we may need to modify our schedule and reduce our hours that were open. All training is done in-house, so no experience is required. Please contact Jim Thorpe at 982-8524 for questions about the schedule or about becoming a lifeguard. And then finally, the Recreation Department is offering a Parent and Me cooking class starting January 5th at the Washington Center. Registration is now open for that and spots are limited, so register for that as soon as possible. And then we are also offering a Winter Blues Buster after school craft time in the Washington Center, where children can come from 4 to 5 p.m. on Tuesdays starting January 10th for a $3 craft. For any of those questions, you can contact the Recreation Office at 982-8521. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zoll. One question for you.
Yes, sir.
Any reindeer sightings in the parks?
There were a couple down at Hatton Park just looking around for the
Beautiful. Thank
Yep,
you very
for
much.
Christmas.
All right. Fire Chief, Mr. Wolfer, I don't see him, but Mr. Ritchie, do you have a report?
Yeah, we're recognizing Dick Muskovich for 49 years of service and Brad Seward for 4 years of service. That's all we
Beautiful.
got.
Thank you very much. Up next, Utility Manager, Mr. Bessett.
Thank you, Your Honor. We had 3 water main breaks at Shawano and Cook Street. The first was on November 18th and the second on November 22nd, and then the third on December 2nd. The utilities decided to replace what we determined to be a bad section of main running from Cook to Spring Street on Shawano Street. That work was done by Emil Construction, and it was completed on December 16th. Our water department found a service leak at 806 Beacon Avenue. They repaired that leak on November 30th, and one more leak was discovered December 6th out at North Point Drive. Due to the amount of time that leak was running, we determined we needed a contractor to make that repair. On the electric side of things, we had a pole struck on November 16th at 12 a.m. at E9167 Highway X. That's a popular pole. The utilities have replaced that pole 5 times in my career, but we do have one that's more popular out on X. So guys did a great job there. On December 15th at 5:39 a.m., we received a call for a branch arcing on the lines at 1803 Cedarhurst Drive. Crews responded and cleared the line. We had no other incidents in town, and we had no outages due to that snowstorm. Today at 1:40, crews responded out to the strip mall out by Walmart. Car struck an underground transformer. Due to the damage to the transformer, it had to be changed out. We had a 4-man crew today, and they worked on that immediately. They got all those customers power restored at 5 p.m. The utilities will be posting a journeyman lineman opening and a water operator opening soon. I urge anyone interested to apply to those positions. And I would like to recognize Jack Orscheid and Carson Schramm for 2 years of service and Kevin Schramm for 29 years of service this month for the utilities. And I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And that's all I have from the utilities, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bassett. Merry Christmas to you as well. All right, moving along to the city clerk, Ms. Ryerson.
I'd just like to point your attention to the packets if you are interested in being on the ballot in the spring. The materials are there and everything is due on the first Tuesday of January 2023.
Thank you, Ms. Ryerson. With that, we're looking to adjourn. Get a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Mr. Beesaw. Second by Mr. Fichet. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.